It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back and another Real Housewives of New York recap. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm having an amazing day. Just to start off, I want to say happy 7th year anniversary to my fiance, Jason. It's been a crazy 7 years, so many memories, laughs, everything in between. So I just want to say, first off, happy anniversary. And thank you to all of you who participated in the 1 year surprise video. It means everything to me. This is such a beautiful community that we have created on here. And I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful for all of you guys. Okay, so with that out of the way, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm all over the place because I have this drill above my head. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and let's jump right in. Okay, so guys, this was an intense episode. I'm going to bring up, I already have Janice Froman in here and Kempire. I did drop the link. I'll drop it for you guys again, just in case. This was an intense episode because Ebony K. Williams has already made it known that she has taken 2 weeks off of social media because she wants us all to kind of take this in. And it was a lot. It was a lot. And watching the episode, I just can't believe what we saw. I don't want to speak on my own about this. Let me bring up the first caller and then I will bring up the second.
Hey.
What is with the Fallon thing?
I literally made just a quick story behind this. I literally had added this. I forgot why. It was for one of my lives, and I completely forgot. And I went, I took my camera off one day while I was live, and I was like, oh shoot, I forgot I had Fallon. But I thought it was the perfect, picture for your interview coming up on Thursday.
Okay. All right. And so for those of you who don't know, I did drop it in the community. The interview drops at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday and 5 p.m. Pacific. I had so many people who were like, Adam, you're making us wait until June 10th. And then from there, you're also making us wait until 8 p.m. I do not have control over this. I just support Fallon. So I'm excited for you guys to see the interview. It was emotional. It was insane. And when I say insane, it was just a lot to hear her side of the story, her truth. I think it'll blow your guys' mind. We covered a lot. So hopefully you guys tune in. And if you do, I'm setting it to a premiere so we can all live chat together. Before we continue, Grandma Scary, thank you for the super chat. LOL, where did you get the drill? No, Grandma Scary, I don't have a drill. I live in a 30-floor condominium building, and I don't know where this drill is. At first I thought it was above my head, but I hear it in the parking garage. I hear it in the lobby. I don't know where the hell this drill is. Oh, what wow. I do know is it's a pain in my ASS. I know that. This damn drill.
I'm also incognito because there's work being done on my home. So that's also why.
Okay.
But it is me, Kempire.
Hey, all right. We can hear the voice. Kempire, you watched the episode, right?
Yes, I literally watched it this morning.
Okay, so we know that Ebony was super upset, and the way that LUANN reacted, to be honest with you, I'm going to give you my opinion first, and then I want to hear yours. Yeah. The way LUANN reacted was ridiculous. She did not call her uneducated, and I don't think it warranted the angry comment. And I feel like LUANN really is sort of self-involved. She is the countess, or she was the countess, and she's kind of involved in that whole persona to where she's not really aware of sometimes what she's saying and doing, but that doesn't make it right. To be honest with you, I was very proud at first of Heather Thomson for the way she was dealing with the situation until her microaggression. Then I was like, oh girl, you lost us. You were doing so well.
She tried too hard and failed.
She tried too hard. And then, you have Sonia over here who's trying her ass off too. And Sonia came from a genuine sort of what it felt like authentic place. And I think Ebony realized that.
Yeah, Sonia definitely did try. I know a lot of people are uncomfortable with these conversations, and I'm glad that you're doing this live and having the conversation. Look, I'm uncomfortable having the conversation too, and I'm Black. So I think it's important that we do have these conversations with even our favorite franchise. We have to remember this was filmed in 2020. We weren't just dealing with a pandemic. We were dealing with social injustice. We saw a man, pretty much die on camera. So
Right.
I think for those of us that are uncomfortable watching it, we need to get over ourselves.
Right.
Because these are stories that need to be told. You know, we're always saying we want these shows to be more real. Well, this is the realest it's going to get. And I applaud Ebony for addressing this issue.
Right.
And look, the thing with LUANN, I think LUANN thought Ebony was saying that she was dumb or that, she's the smartest. No, she says, I am technically, based on the books and on record, the most educated here at this table. And
it's just a fact. Like Sonia said, it's a resume.
And Sonia, she has made up for all of the messiness from the first beginning of the season. She really stood up and made the most sense. She's like, you know what? Let's listen. We have privilege. Listen. She wasn't saying one was better than the other. She's like, no, we need to listen. This is our time to listen. And that's the big issue that needed to be addressed.
There's an upcoming episode where I don't know if did she say I'm not Tony who? I'm not Tony Robinson?
Oh, I can't remember.
Did she say Toni Morrison? Who did she? Shan's laughing at me. Shan, hi Shan. Who did she say?
Shan.
Fallon, is that you?
Yeah, hi.
Okay, that's not what it sounds like.
I thought the interview was tomorrow.
The interview, yes, right?
I'm doing promotion. I'm doing promotion.
There we go. Was it Tony Robbins or was it Toni Morrison? I didn't catch.
I need to rewatch.
It was Tony someone, but she said, I'm not Tony whoever up in this. It's not my job to educate all of you. And I agree with Ebony. I feel like
Toni Morrison.
It was Morrison. Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah, I agree with you though. Or I agree with her because honestly, I know that they're all looking for her to tell them how to be and how to act in order to act better and realize that, they have white privilege and they're very, successful white women who haven't dealt with the same hardships as Ebony. I agree with the fact though, Ebony did not come on the show to educate everyone. Like she said, I'm doing my job. I'm doing my part as a part of the show, but I'm not coming on here to teach every single one of you how to act.
But you know what? Honestly, she's doing more than a lot of people are willing to do, especially as a woman of color. And I applaud her for doing that because I understand completely as a Black man that you don't want to have to teach everyone about race. Because first of all, we're not a monolith as Black people. We all have different experiences and thoughts on, social injustice, on the Black experience. And even our own people sometimes sort of pin us into, no, you should believe this. No, we all have different experiences, especially in this wide range of a country in itself. We have a different experience. And the Black experience here in the United States can be very different than the Black experience in Canada or Europe. So I think it's important that we are having the conversation. I love the fact that Ebony has embraced having the conversation and she's willing to have the conversation because someone else could be like, no, I'm not even engaging in this.
Well,
but look how tired. Sorry, Adam.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry. I
was gonna say, but look how exhausted it's making her. She's having to tap out every night early. Like you can tell it's taking a lot out of her.
I think that might be just Ebony and just being around these women.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I would be going to bed by 6 o'clock if I was around them. But
you're right. It might be some of that too.
No, I agree. I agree with Jan. Moving forward, though, there was one comment that I saw a lot of fans shared. They all had the same idea of, LUANN did call her angry when she came home. She said that LUANN did say this has nothing to do with race from her point of view. But then when she came home and she told Leah the story, she said that she was called an angry Black woman. And LUANN was saying that she didn't call her that. She called her angry. Now, I was seeing where the fans were like, that's not what she called you. She just called you angry. But then I'm like, while reading the comments, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, did you not listen to why that's not appropriate? I mean, does it have to be verbatim for it to be right or wrong? No, that she's just saying this associated with me. It's different than me calling you as a white woman angry. It's two totally different things. And I also applaud her for saying, LUANN, please just allow me to have my feelings. Just allow me to feel. If I get I raised my voice, if I get a little anxious or excited or passionate, she said, then allow me that. Don't just automatically label me as like, oh, she's angry. Because like she said, Leah's running around calling all of the women hoes and screaming and throwing roses at people. And
2 seconds before.
and popping off walls. And I like Leah. And I've had so many conversations with her sister, Sarah. I think they're both sweet as far as the conversations I've had with them. I know that there's a different side that we get on the show and a very abrupt side sometimes of Leah. But I agree with what Ebony K. Williams said about her in this episode. She said, I think Leah was going through her own situations during this episode. And yes, I think she was very quick to pop off in a lot of these situations when maybe she should have just taken a step back for a second and kind of thought about her reaction before she reacted, I guess is the best way to put it.
I had mixed feelings about Leah this episode because you already know how I feel about Leah. But certain points, I was like, okay, she's going through the whole, the death of her grandmother's coming. But also, I like what she adds to Ebony and sort of like a support system amongst this crazy of women. So I think that part I'm okay with, but next season, Leah can go.
Okay. Please. Well, I do
Maybe
have
she's
another... Oh, no. I was just going to say, Shan, hold that thought. I have Janice Froman, who's sitting here patiently, and I have a few other callers in here. Dorit, Natalie Benzie, how you doing? I see you. Oh my God. They want Visa Rep in here changing her name. Let's first bring up Janice, and then we'll start rotating callers. But hold your thought, Shan. And hi, Janice.
Hey, Kempire.
How are you?
Hey.
Adam, congratulations on your 7-year anniversary with
thanks.
Jason. Shout out to Jason. I've been sending him DMs. Jason, June 28th, Captain Sandy. We'll talk. Because Jason and I both love Below Deck. Oh, stop.
Oh, Jason says that's like one of the only Bravo shows he'll watch is Below Deck. I tried putting on Housewives. He's always like, I don't want to listen to a bunch of women screaming. I'm like, well, Get over it. We have 3 TVs. Go find another room.
So
7 years.
So Adam, to kind of pick up on your first thought, because you started this out with Ebony and kind of like her going off of her social platform for 2 weeks. Pretty funny. Did anybody watch What Happens Live last night? She was on there.
She was on. Well, that's not her social media platform. That's technically a part of her contract.
And I understand that. And it was great to have her on there. And she was able to kind of talk without being interrupted. And she is a very smart person. She is a lawyer. The reason why she goes to bed early is because her body is used to that. You have to remember, she is on a TV show that she has to get up at 4 a.m. to get ready for, prep for. So that's the reason why her body is just used to going to bed early. That's
no, I agree with that. And these other women, they've been in this Real Housewives game for a while, except for Leah, but most of them, they've been in it for a while. So they have a system of how they kind of, I guess, spread their time and make sure that they last from start to finish of these filming days. I've even heard in some of the interviews that I've had with different Bravo people, some of them film 12 to 15 hour days, and it's just nonstop. Even if they're not on camera, they're waiting off to the side for producers to be like, okay, it's your turn, jump in. But they're still at work. It's almost like being on a set as an actor and waiting for your scene. You're still on set. You're not at home just like relaxing and, oh, okay, like I'll just show up for work and then I get to leave when it's not my scene. They're still very much a part of the whole thing,
It's tiring.
It's tiring.
It is. And as soon as Ebony started pointing out on last night's episode about, hey, you guys didn't say this about Leah, I'm like high-fiving in the air. I'm up out of my chair. I'm like, go Ebony, because these people need to understand that they cannot have a double standard when you're in a group of friends. You either state your viewpoint and you stick to it, or just be quiet and kind of absorb what everyone is talking about. But Heather, we got to talk about Heather, man. Are we ready to talk about Heather yet?
Wait, before we do, I just want to ask one question from everybody on the panel right now. And again, I see the other people in the room. I promise I will get everyone up. I just want to ask this question. When Ebony agreed to have the sit down, when they all came back that night, she just wanted to squash it and let LUANN know where she was coming from and why she got upset with that comment. And I think that she handled herself amazing. I think that Sonia handled herself amazing. Leah, you popped off. You did, but I still love you, girl. LUANN wanted an apology back. She's like, okay, I apologize to you. Now, don't you think you owe me something? And before I give you guys my answer, I'm curious, and we can start with Shan. We'll do ladies first, Shan, then Janice, and then we'll go to Kimpire, unless Kimpire, you want to be Fallon right now. Unless you want to be Fallon right now.
I'm playing.
Okay. Shan, do you think it was appropriate for her to ask for an apology back? Because like Ebony said, she's like, I know I got passionate in your house and I was yelling while your daughter was there, but for good reason.
I feel that LUANN asking for that apology shows that she didn't listen or absorb a single word that was said to her. This is not your place to ask for an apology. Just listen. This is going to sound really basic, but white people, can we just sit and listen? We don't always have to talk. It's not always about us. Let's just listen.
I don't think that's basic. I think that's pretty straightforward and honest.
Then why isn't it happening?
Well, because you have the Countess. Okay, Janice?
LUANN didn't receive. On some level, she just didn't receive the information that was being presented to her. The only thing that Ebony might have apologized for was yelling at an event. Because really, if you're going to follow the Countess Rules of the perfect, yes, thank you, Shan, for laughing. If you're going to follow those rules, then you don't raise your voice at a dinner party.
Okay, but you also don't rip handcuffs off yourself and then go after a cop and then you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that you should, if you're going to follow the Countess rules, it's not like follow them when it pertains to everybody else and not yourself. There's certain give the girl a break.
She only follows them when it's convenient for her. Let's be honest about that. Do I think that Ebony needed to apologize to LUANN? That's hard, because how much of an open conversation do you want to have with this group of friends that you're put together for a show?
Friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Friends.
Correct. So, I mean, should she squash it just so that they can move on to the next confrontation? Because we know there's going to be another one, right?
Well, you could see, honestly, not to cut you off, but you see Leah sitting there in her silence, brewing, waiting for everyone to hear Ebony, but also waiting for that moment that conversation ends so she can pop off, because she wants to.
Yeah. And really, Ramona kind of giving, and we're going to get to Leah, Ramona kind of giving a pass to Leah. Oh, her grandfather. Nobody asked Ebony about what was going on with her grandfather, and Ebony's own mother pushing Ebony to make the decision of what to do.
Right.
Right.
Right. And when she said that, she's like, my grandmother is, passing away too. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, Ramona, that's your, okay. Kimpire, can you help us? What are your thoughts? I wanted to hear everyone's thoughts.
Well, okay. I expected LUANN to expect an apology. This is not the first time LUANN has acted up and expected someone to apologize to her. I think what LUANN wanted an apology was for what she said about education, because LUANN heard education and she took it as being, oh, I'm the most intelligent at the table. And she took offense to that. LUANN wasn't listening. LUANN never listens. We've seen that countless times throughout the series.
Or countless times, but yes.
Or countless times. Yes. Look, I expected LUANN to say something like that. It's just who she is. It's just, I can appreciate her being as real as she is, but at the same time, girl, no, you're not going to get an apology, even though I believe she did apologize for getting loud at the table. And based on what Janice is saying, LUANN she broke her own rules, getting loud at the table.
Can we just call it what it is? She's ignorant.
Oh, yeah. We already knew that.
Sorry.
Okay,
I can't dance around this.
So we can move on and talk about this next thing that you guys, Janice was bringing up. It was Heather Thomson. And I just want to say this really quick. I agree with Leah in the sense that, one, at first I thought Heather was doing a great job at accepting responsibility for what she said on the podcast. And then I thought she was able to move forward really nicely. And I think by her pushing for everyone to listen, I thought she was doing really well. And then all of a sudden she comes in and says, girl, like, what did she say? She didn't call her intelligent, but she's like,
articulate.
You're so well. Yeah.
She said, you're very articulate. And, it's almost like, Well, yeah,
trigger.
duh, she's a lawyer. She just said she's the most educated. What are you expecting from her? And then she walks out, and I love that Ebony was like, I'm going to give that girl a pass. Like, microaggression, but you know what? She's trying. She doesn't know any better. And then she tries saying, listen, I've been around Black America. I worked for Puffy. And Ebony's looking at her like, okay, so you've been around, and she's like, I know that's not like normal Black America. That's like what we see on TV, like hip hop this. And she's like, it's called elite, right? So, okay.
And then she even said it was make-believe, which was so disrespectful too.
Oh my gosh. She was just digging her hole. Sometimes less is more, especially in a conversation. And she's the one who's preaching everyone to listen, or preaching to everyone to listen, Heather. And she's really just giving too much. And I agree with Leah when she says that. Now, do I think Leah needed to come after her the way she did? Not necessarily. I feel like Leah, with no disrespect, again, I like Leah. I think she was kind of like a dog with a bone in this case, meaning that she knew she was going to, or wanted to, have this altercation with Heather from the very moment that Ramona said Heather was going to show up. She knew she wanted this altercation, and Heather was hugging on her. Heather was trying to talk with her. Heather was trying to come in and be chummy with Leah, console her. Even though Leah doesn't like her, I don't think it really warranted that reaction.
Okay.
If you guys can see my face right now.
So I feel Heather was trying to be like the Maya Angelou of the whole trip, right? She was trying to impart her wisdom and her knowledge of all of her life experiences and how she's risen from the ashes, yada, yada, yada. Heather, come on. You're privileged just like the rest of them. Just because you worked for Puffy and Beyonce doesn't necessarily mean that you understand what it's like to be homeless on the streets trying to struggle to make a life.
Or does it mean not even just homeless? It doesn't mean that you've ever walked a day in Ebony or anybody else's shoes. You've walked in your shoes. So even Heather's experiences as a white woman, they're very different than LUANN or Sonia's experience, but definitely different than Ebony's experiences.
Right.
Stop trying to kind of relate to everybody. And I agree with Leah. It's like, you don't have to be a part of every conversation. It's almost like you're trying too hard. You didn't have that contract signed yet. So until Leah popped off, you were like, I'll do whatever it takes to get that contract back.
Well, and I think that in that regard, as soon as Heather showed up at the house and she kind of like wasn't made over like a big deal and everything, she was already suffering from FOMO right then and there, the second she walked in the door.
Right.
So I think she was just trying to insert herself to be relevant and to somehow be a peacekeeper. I don't know.
Busybody.
It was busybody. Yeah, busybody is a good word, Shan. But on some level, I think she was trying to keep it peaceful so that they could somehow have a fun trip. But let's not get it twisted. Heather was throwing shade Leah's way, and Leah wasn't going to put up with it. And Leah picked up on it right away.
Well, Heather brought up when they went fishing, which this looked like the worst. I'm just someone who doesn't like fishing, I guess. My whole family loves fishing.
What were they trying to catch? Someone tell me, please.
I
My
don't know.
husband is watching that. He's like, what are they trying to catch?
Unless you're talking about Sonia, who's trying to catch a man. I don't know what the rest of them were trying to catch. But, you know, they're sitting there and they're talking, and Leah didn't give Heather the opportunity to cut her off when they started talking about political point of views. But Leah knew it was coming, because as soon as Heather went to just even utter a word, she's like, don't give me that self-righteous BS and come at me with that. And Heather's like, well, I was going to just ask you a question. Now, this is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you go ask a normal everyday person who's not on a TV show, what is your political point of view? You don't really have to divulge that. You don't have to share that information. You can if you want and you want to strike up the conversation, but sometimes those are hard conversations to have. Leah knows the minute that they have that conversation on screen with the way she's feeling, it's not going to translate well. So she wanted Heather to kind of skip away and steer clear of that conversation. I don't know if it's fair, though. I think, Leah, again, you signed up for the Real Housewives, and this was a time where the election was very important, and we were still currently going through the election. It had to have been a conversation. It was just like the same conversation they had when Carol Radswell threw the election party when it was Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. This was this is current times. This is what we're going through in the world. It doesn't just affect the United States of America. Our president affects what's going on in the rest of the world too, because whoever we elect has to deal with other world leaders, and it reflects on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I totally get that, and I totally understand that. I liked Leah when she came on the show last year. This year, she is just being angry at everything, and it's really off-putting. And I almost like want to reach out to her and go, girl, if you don't turn it down, you're not going to be on the show next year.
That's what they did to Dorinda.
It is what they did to Dorinda. And
Kempire, we hear you.
And you would think that Leah would have learned from that example, but apparently not. So I get, she's going through all this stuff in her personal life. And Kempire, did you notice that they've kind of like moved away from the conversation of Leah converting to Judaism? It's like that storyline has like disappeared.
But they also said, like, on Watch What Happens Live, and Kemper, I didn't mean to cut you off, but on Watch What Happens Live, Ebony even said they glazed over Leah calling all of the women hoes. And yes. Andy Cohen goes, oh, yeah, they did sort of glaze that over.
Yeah.
You didn't interrupt me, Adam. All I had to add at that part was,
Wait, I want to bring this up really quick. Newsreel with Carla Stillwell. Thank you so much for the super chat. Heather is the most Karen to ever Karen in the history of Karen. Okay. Wow. Say that 5 times fast. Her soft bigotry was so amusing and so basic. Okay. We see.
Heather was definitely trying to be fake woke. And we've seen a lot of people try that. But you know what? It is what it is. I think Heather had good intentions in the beginning, but I think she just took it too far. And the whole articulate conversation, look, as a Black man, I've experienced that multiple times, especially going to an all-white school. They're like, oh, you're not like them. Who's them? As a teenager, these are the microaggressions that we're talking about that now we can talk about it openly, because back then in high school, 10, 20 years ago, I wasn't able to talk about it. I told the story of me being called the N-word for the first time last year and didn't realize at the time in a high school, the teachers and the people in power did not protect me because they clearly knew about it, because I wrote a whole article in our local newspaper about it. So this is why people are saying it so much, why people are bringing it up so much, because we've held it in for such a long time. Right. So look, hearing Heather say that, I wasn't surprised by it, but now it's very different. It's more triggering now than it was for me back then, because back then it was like, oh, I guess that's supposed to be a compliment. That's what I'm saying.
Terrible. Okay. Well, Janice, I appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. I'm going to start rotating callers, and please,
thanks everybody. See you
please,
later.
I hope you join us tomorrow night for our live chat, and then also Friday we're going to be going live, Shan and I, on the Grace Report at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're around then, make sure that you come join the conversation.
Will do. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Janice. All right. Let's bring up real quick. How you doing?
Doing?
Uh-oh, doing it incorrectly. How you doing?
Oh.
Don't forget the hands.
Oh, Miriam has the hands. Hold on.
How you doing?
Okay. Real quick. Hi, Miriam. I want to jump back on this conversation really quick. I thought it was I thought it, again, was too much, and it was a little bizarre. Heather wanted to point out all of her experiences as opposed to listening what Ebony was saying, even though she was preaching to everyone else to listen. She was talking about Puffy, talking about Beyonce, talking about how she was friends with a beautiful Black man with a beautiful Gucci suit that couldn't hail a taxi, so she had to help him. But she wasn't, it's like, just let Ebony talk about her experiences.
You know something?
Trying so hard to relate.
I agree with you, But here's the thing. Heather, the way she started telling the woman, this is when we need to apologize and listen and stop right there. That was major. And just like it's not the obligation of people with color to school us, it's also like the only thing I ask from myself as a person of color and everybody else, when we see someone trying to do the right thing, we give them the grace of doing such. Leah, she was pissed with Heather because, first of all, how hypocritical is that? She is all for equality and this and that, but because it's not the candidate she wanted, she's not going to vote. Bitch, go vote.
Oh,
Like, sorry.
we're passionate.
I was so mad at Leah. I cringed watching.
No, she got a lot of backlash for that.
LUANN, she came off extremely, extremely white privileged. And I'm going to say, I am traveled. I lived in countries and I speak 4 languages just like her. That's not my education. That's my culture and my experience. That is not my education. My education is a bachelor's degree in public administration, period, end of story. And I'm a certified ESL teacher. So LUANN, she was so intimidated by the fact that someone is more educated than her, and she wanted, they are all guilty of that. They will like one up each other. But
right.
That was a typical example of that, which went really wrong. And LUANN, she only realized that was a mistake in the confessional, because even in the way she was,
she was crying in the confessional.
You're angry. She had a smirk in her face. I am telling you, I became physically sick. These 2 episodes were the hardest for me to watch.
That's what
because I cannot believe for the life of me how ignorant you are, LUANN, culturally, and especially in social justice issues. Like, she came off ignorant, arrogant, and privileged. The real MVP, Sonia Morgan.
Which is kind of wait, I applaud Sonia, but is anybody shocked that Ramona was not in the mix? Like, how did Ramona have the ability?
She knew. She saw. She knew. She's too self-aware. It's probably the most self-aware that we've seen Ramona in years.
We've ever seen Ramona. She knew. Actually, I think she also knew coming into the season after walking into one of the previous seasons and going on that vacation where she goes, "Wow, look at all these servants just for us." I think that she kind of learned from the backlash of that. Okay, I need to watch myself.
You know, I just want to say something about Heather. Heather, she put her foot in her mouth eventually, but it's something that she had admitted while talking with the woman that we are, as white people, they are all guilty of. This is why I would give her a pass. And I was disappointed with Ebony for the first time, because in my eyes, she can do no wrong, in her appearance in Watch What Happens Live, because she was throwing shade at Heather. And Heather did to her and to the cause way more than Lily did. Lily, she's not voting. She's basically throwing away any chance
Are you calling her
that
Lily?
she can get to make a change and better
Who's
your
Lily?
life.
Are you calling Leah Lily?
No, Lily is like, is her name. Ebony says, this is how I call Leah. Lily.
Oh, Lily. Oh,
so, yeah,
okay. So Miriam's like, don't try to school me. I'm going to school you. Okay.
I was disappointed with Ebony because if they were not acting as frustrated, impatient people, they would have let Heather say that the experience she got, she wasn't talking about Puffy or the people on the top. She was talking about people who worked with them that couldn't get cabs, and she had to step in. And that's a big deal because that's systemic daily racism that everybody, but when she's trying to
but Heather was trying too hard. Heather was trying a little too hard.
I agree with you.
She was, but I think her heart was in the right place. It wasn't like Leah. Leah, she's all about, she wants to look good and that she's doing the right thing. But then she just exposed herself by not willing to vote
She
you
said
kidding
in her
me?
confessional she would. She's like, obviously I'm going to.
Oh
Leah's just
no,
that person. Don't tell me what to do. I think she just doesn't like to be told what to
that
do.
is $1 short and a day late.
I
I
also,
think
oop.
that was $1 short a day late. I think whatever they say in the confessionals is them after watching themselves.
Okay.
But in all fairness, Ebony she was very straight with Leah about her responsibility for voting. And I like that about Ebony.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kempire. And on Watch What Happens Live, she not only said what she said about Heather, but she also said for Leah, she's like, listen, that's my girl. That's my friend. She was one of the nicest women who immediately came to me to just try to make an honest relationship when I joined the show, but she was out of line. So she was really just calling a spade. Whoever was out of line, she was just pointing it out. And we can all do that as viewers. I saw where Heather was out of line. I saw a few episodes ago where Sonia Morgan was out of line. Not the Morgan letter,
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you think is more out of line or more of a grave mistake? Heather saying that she worked with Puffy and this is why she has an idea about what it is, when they interrupted her several times and she put her foot in her mouth, or when Leah says, I don't want to vote because that's not the person that I like. Which action will have more implication and effect on people of color's lives? For me, there's no room for comparison in my eyes. I feel like voting is our only peaceful weapon.
But in the reality,
even if you don't like, you pick the lesser of the evils because we saw what evil is for 4 years.
I agree with you, Miriam, but in all reality, we had a lot of people in this country very much like Leah. And so part of me is not mad at the fact that she was expressing her concern, like, Biden's not my favorite, but I mean, there were a lot of people on the fence about voting. There were a lot.
Yeah, but isn't that privilege? Because she's upset. This is how I took it. This is another facet of privilege. I don't like him, so I'm not going to vote, although my vote would help him get a better agenda in place. But I'm not going to bother. Isn't that privilege? Isn't that the definition of privilege?
It is. It
Light
is.
bulb moment.
With that being said, I said that is, and I agree with you. I thought it was very important, especially in this past election, to vote. But if we're talking about a reality show, I think it was a good conversation to have. Let's not all act all woke like Heather and be like, there isn't a large group of people in this country that decided not to vote in the last election or the previous election.
I agree with you, and I'm glad they had that conversation, but I feel like Leah exposed that she herself is a white privileged woman, that she's not aware of that.
Wait, why am I defending Leah?
Well, but what's her name? Ebony called her Lily, and she was more graceful towards Leah than Heather. And I feel like that is not right.
Well, Leah is also her friend, though. Or at
least friend? No, they're not friends.
I mean, they've had more. Let's say, okay, they've had more bonding moments and talking about their grandmothers and had more honest, real conversations. Especially, you have to remember, we're seeing bits and pieces, an edited version of the whole trip. So I feel like they may have had more bonding moments of consoling each other and being there for each other in a similar situation of both losing two very important figures in their lives. And she hasn't had these moments with Heather. She just feels like Heather, she hasn't had a minute to really sit down with her. Really,
Did she give her a chance? Leah was
maybe the next episode she will, because it looks like they're having a great time without Leah.
Well, Leah is the Karen of the show. Period. Leah, listen to me. You are the Karen. Like, you try to be cool and young and hip, but you are the real Karen. It was out of line. She never gave Heather a chance. Heather was never my favorite, but I am glad that Heather did what she did from beginning to end, with her even putting her foot in her mouth, because she brought something very important to the forefront. And that was way more than whatever Leah ever pretended to do in her stories on Instagram, or calling out Ramona and then making up with her right away. And then she throws back at Ramona, oh, but you're a liar. You're not a Christian. Girl, you want to leave Christianity to be a Jew. So stop. Don't bring religion, Lily. Don't. I'm mad. Sorry.
Oh.
So how about Sonia? Are we going to talk about, is Sonia the MVP or not?
Yes.
She
As
is,
of right
right?
now-
I think MVP's a bit far.
As of right now, she is a lot more highly liked than a lot of the other cast members. We can at least say that.
Did
For
you guys see
me,
that
she
coming?
showed.
I didn't see it coming. I was like, she's the voice of reason? What show am I
Yes.
watching?
Voice of Reason's a better title.
Yeah.
There we
I don't know
go.
about
I'm
MVP.
working on it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
gave me the chills.
Wait,
It's
I
only
do
9
want to
o'clock
ask
on the
you
West
guys.
Coast.
I want to ask you guys. They're about to go to this. It's not a fashion show, a beauty competition, whatever pageant, whatever they're going to. It doesn't matter.
La diva.
But Leah gets onto the bus, and then she comes on, Heather, and she calls Leah the B word, and Leah just is not here for it. Again, I think this is the classic situation of you have other stuff going on in your. If you talk to me and I don't have a family member or a friend or some hardship that I'm going through, I might have a very different reaction than if my loved one or somebody was passing away. I might be a little bit more excited or passionate about my reaction, I guess you could say. And for Leah, I think that's what we got. Now, did she need to throw the roses down on Heather's lap? No, not necessarily. And I'm kind of disappointed. Heather allegedly talked about this assault that happened on Real Housewives of New Jersey, but then she kind of recanted and said it's so wild what the media will take and run with, because that's not really how she said it. And then we see it, and technically she did hit her with the flowers, but it wasn't what it was built up to be. But that's classic Real Housewives.
Well, can you imagine if it was
I also
Ebony
want to hear
doing
what a
that?
lawyer would say. That might be considered assault.
Can you imagine if it was Ebony who did that? Was she going to be called angry? Maybe a restraint. I'm not saying
It already
Heather would
happened.
have placed a restraining order, but we've seen people on such basis place restraining orders. That was like such a double standard. I am telling you, these were the most hard episodes that I ever watched. It was blunt in my face. They let Leah get away with uncalled, angry behavior, never calling her angry, understanding that she's losing her grandma.
Right.
Meanwhile, Ebony, she's going through the same thing, and she always have to be cool, calm, and collected. And even her bringing the glam, she is really aware that she needs to present herself in a certain way that she can't even she can't lose a chance to look perfect because of the message that she wants to bring. And yes, she has an agenda, and I'm all for Ebony's agenda. But Ebony, I hope she holds Lily to the fire, because her saying that she wasn't willing to vote, she was very calm about that, and she was okay with it during Watch What Happens Live, because
But
she
I'm
was
happy for
only
Leah to be on this season. You know
on
why I'm
Heather.
happy that Leah's on this season? Because we see the clear example differences. And if we didn't have Leah acting the way that she's acting, then people were like, oh, you're making this up, Ebony. You're making this up. That's not real. No, we needed Leah this season. But as I said before, you can go.
Well, she also, though, just to be fair, I don't know what Leah's future holds on the Real Housewives of New York, but I was excited to hear, and this is just a kind of a conversation switch up. I feel like, oh my gosh, people are going to rip my head off for this one. I feel like
What is it?
Dorinda sometimes can be a good voice of reason if you limit the alcohol intake. I feel like sometimes she can be very, you know what I mean? I do. I honestly think sometimes.
I agree.
Right? If you would take out the alcohol and take out her getting all, like old school New York mafia on you and like in your face, like that. Okay. And just have her just level-headed and sober. I think that sometimes she can be a good voice of reason. And when she found out that Ebony was joining the cast, she slid into Ebony's DMs. She said, listen, girl, I'm so proud of you. I am sending you all the best. I know you're going to kill it. I'm going to be sitting back watching as a fan. I wish we would have had the opportunity to work together. And Ebony recognized that was very sweet of her. I really hope, I don't know Leah's future on the show. I'm guessing 9 out of 10 that they will bring Dorinda back next season. I just see it happening. And I can see where Dorinda, Ebony, Sonia, where they would get off. I could see where they would get along.
Yeah. I will quote a philosopher YouTuber and get off my show, Leah.
The shade.
Miriam
the philosopher is Campire, obviously. Listen,
philosopher.
I
Damn.
just like I liked Leah at the beginning, but then I started feeling like she's doing too much. It's not coming off natural. And these 2 episodes, she was like she wanted to be the center of attention. Even if when I believe her tears about her grandma, I do. But I feel like she even used that real emotion for her to be the center of attention, for her to be, okay, I'm going through a lot. This is why I'm acting up, so I'm allowed to act up. So she needs to recalibrate herself. I used to like her more when we had Tinsley, because Tinsley always brought the softer side of Leah. And now
Can
Leah
you imagine
feels
her
like
this season with alcohol? Can you imagine Leah this season with alcohol?
No, without alcohol. No,
but I'm saying,
alcohol.
could you imagine if she's feeling this way and going through this, and these are her sober reactions? Can you imagine what alcohol would have looked like this season?
Then we would have witnessed assault. She hates the guts of Heather. You can feel it through the screen. I never seen someone loathe someone that, doesn't matter. You never met this woman. You
Well,
just
she met her
starting
once.
to work with her.
She met her at Dorinda's house.
Yeah, exactly. And they were very cordial. Like
Right.
Heather,
The reason why Leah does not like Heather is because they see each other the same way. They're both very much alike.
True,
Right.
True.
Right. LA Fleet Nick, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. And Jean Welsome, I can see them wanting to bring Dorinda back, but do you think Dorinda will want to come back?
Oh,
Dorinda
yeah,
said before that she wears the Real Housewives of New York as a badge of honor. It made her have some honest, tough conversations. She feels like it's almost like a tattoo in a girls' club that once you're a part of it, you're a part of it for life. I think she enjoyed filming, and I think she was thoroughly disappointed when she was not asked back to the show. I think she is
coming back.
She's coming back for sure. They just wanted to give her a break. And like
No
Garcelle
backing
said
down.
for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she said when they asked her who should leave the show, she said anyone who is an OG on any of these franchises, I think that they should take a season off. And I agree with that just a little bit. Also, by the way, I don't mean to get off topic. Did anybody see that we are now officially filming the Real Housewives of Miami and we have our OGs back? I am so...
Where's Leah? Where is Leah?
Leah Black.
Leah's.
I bet you they are probably considering, and this no shade at all. I think that since the other women are a little bit younger and it's been quite some time since they've been filming, that they might have just sort of aged her out of being a part. I think they came up with in my mind, I'm feeling like they're trying to sell Miami Housewives off to us as sort of young professionals, youngish, maybe 30s, 40s, barely 50s. And if they are just barely, who have that sort of sexiness, that fun flavor vibe. Like I was just in Miami by the way the other day.
Leah Black.
I love
Leah
it.
Black.
All right. Well, we've been on here for 48 minutes. I did promise Jason I wouldn't run over 35 because we're going to do something for our anniversary. Before we go, I do just want to say thank you guys for being a part of the conversation. Also, I had one more thing that I wanted to add, and I totally forgot about it.
Fallon interview on Thursday.
No, I feel like I've jammed that down everybody's throats.
Well, we cleared our schedule.
I'm reminding you, just as Fallon.
What time is it?
Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to be doing a live chat. Well, anyone who wants to join in the conversation, I'll talk about a little bit of behind the scenes of what was going on, the conversations we had before, what that trip was like, because I had a blast. And also tomorrow, we're going to be covering the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We might have Dana Wilkie on with us again. And then I'm going to cover Family Karma just because I had the best time at the premiere party, and Bali is going to be joining us. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Do you know when the interview is dropping? Can you say? Come on.
Completely missed it. Completely missed it. I said it. Adam said it.
Where are you?
I was in a meeting when I hopped in late. Say it again. Maybe people
just
hopped
said
in
it.
late.
I thought she was
he said
punking
the
me.
conversation
I
afterwards.
thought she was punking me. No, definitely, Miriam. I'm sorry. I think I said
the conversation
Yeah.
behind the scenes. I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
no. We're at so
I'm blonde. I'm blonde.
we drop it tomorrow, Thursday, June 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I thought that was the after the conversation to talk about it.
No,
Not the
that's
actual
when
interview.
I'm setting the interview as a premiere so we can all watch it together. I have the interview at this point. Now I finally have it. I just saw it. It was just sent to me in my email. I'm not going to watch it until we all watch it together. So Jason even asked me, can we watch it tonight? And I was like, no, I want to sit there and kind of cringe and watch it at the same time, just so I have the same organic reactions as everyone else, because I was hit on the head. I don't remember half of the stuff that was talked about. I do remember the most important stuff, but this was still I think it was a 40-minute to an hour conversation, and we covered so much. Again, for anyone who doesn't know, Fallon talked about that moment with the golf club and what she was called in order to put her over the edge. She also told us about a few of the people who were in the house that witnessed this, that she didn't want in the house, her experience with the producers. She touched on so many emotional topics. It was intense, but it's a great interview. I do not want to ignore these, by the way. Jean Wellsome, happy 1 year anniversary. Thank you for wonderful content. I love you. Thank you so much. Happy anniversary, Adam and Jason. Love you both. Many blessings. Thank you so much. And then there's one more. Grandma Scary. Can we talk about the pressure all these girls are under, Crystal, Ebony, etc., put in with these white privileged women who are already in a cohesive group? Absolutely. We'll save that conversation for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills tomorrow, because if not, Jason, I will not make it to.
It's too much. It's too much excitement tomorrow.
I will have my snacks ready for the interview. April B, thank you so much for the super chat. You are my new obsession, Adam. Wow, guys, I'm going to keep you around. And Shan and I are going to be joining Grace Report at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday to talk about the aftermath of the interview. This is going to be a crazy week, rest of the week and weekend.
Enjoy.
Wish us luck.
Enjoy.
Hey, thanks.
Success. Enjoy.
Hey, I'll keep you around. How you doing? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Kempire. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Shan. Before we go, let's start off with Shan. Can you tell us where we can find you?
I am on YouTube at Shan in Van, just like it says down there, and Instagram Shan_in_Van. And I would love to connect with other reality TV super fans.
All right, guys, go check out Shan. She has some great point of views that she offers. And also she's a fan just like the rest of us of the shows. So I think it's always nice and refreshing to get different perspectives. I've actually been watching Kempire 2 more and more because I've been in transit. Like anytime Jason and I are driving and they've been showing our place because we're trying to get out of our place and we have to take the dogs, put them in the car so they can show the unit. Then we're stuck in the car for like 2 hours. The other day I was driving to Orlando. That's a 3-hour drive. Kempire was going on a live, and Kempire, you get shady. Oh, you're funny.
Yesterday. Woo!
You get really shady. So I see you, Kempire. And Kempire, actually, Miriam, let us know where we can find you and your, how many subscribers?
Well, the 4 subscribers on YouTube, I love you all and I know you by name, but on YouTube, you find me following the 3 people here. And on Instagram, I've got I'm almost 300 followers now, and I'm excited about that.
All right.
I'm not _paid_by_anyone. Doesn't matter who I'm defending. I am not paid by anyone but myself and my employer.
All right. Okay. All right. And Kempire has a monologue, guys. Get ready for this.
Oh, Lord.
Where's the timer? Got the timer set?
Let's do it, Kemp.
Wait.
Oh, you guys are a mess. I can't.
Wait, I actually want to do it this time. On your marks. Okay. Get set.
Here the timers. Start.
Go.
I purposely waited. Guys, you can follow me here on YouTube, Kempire Daily, where you get daily and consistent hot topics and music, entertainment, reality TV, and more. And please subscribe to my podcast, Kempire Radio, where you get an unfiltered version of the shade that I share here on YouTube. Thank you, Adam, for this wonderful, wonderful conversation.
That was
25 seconds.
No, he started at 5 seconds in.
30 seconds with me.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me in the conversation, and I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. I'm dropping another video today, right after this, and it's already pre-recorded, so don't worry, Jason's not going to have my head. And I just thank you guys all. I'll see you so very soon. Bye, guys.
We love you. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye, bye, bye. All right, guys, make sure you go follow all of them. Some of my favorite content creators, even Miriam with her 4 subscribers, she always has an input that is just so valued. I meant valued. Replace the I with the U and the E. But valued. It's just so much fun to have this community. I appreciate you guys. I will see you soon. Love you guys. Bye, bye, bye.